Hello, everyone. Welcome to Backyard Musings. I'm Steve.
And I'm Scott.
He's Scott. Thank you for joining us today. I'm going to talk about Tim Walz today. There's been some news lately about stolen valor, back and forth, and people have been picking on JD Vance about his military record. Um, JD Vance has been upfront and honest about his record with the Marines he deployed to Iraq, but Tim Walz, on his governor's bio said that he retired as a command sergeant major, and he didn't. He didn't retire as a command sergeant major. He served, but then when his unit was called up to go to Iraq,
Right.
you have to go through a training period, to qualify to go up. I did the same thing. It's about a 90-day period, maybe 60-day period, and he opted not to do that and to retire and run for Congress. And some of his buddies are saying that was a bad deal for him to, while his buddies are going downrange, he's not going downrange. That
Kind
he
of like
chose an
kind of like Bergdahl, right? Kind of like bailing out
mm,
on his unit, right?
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, different circumstances, but exactly right. Bailing out on his unit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bergdahl is much more serious, though. Much more
Oh
serious.
yeah.
But yeah, very very similar. And So, I mean, all we know, the Minnesota National Guard put out a bulletin that said he retired as a master sergeant, which is one rank below command sergeant major. And so, Kamala's campaign, Harris's campaign, updated their thing that said he served as a command sergeant major rather than retired. So they're trying to blow it over. They're pointing fingers at the GOP for making up stuff, and they're just trying to use anything to deflect. I think it's stolen valor. He shouldn't have done that.
Oh
Scott
no.
went Scott went
Hold,
dark.
just went blank. Hold on. Let me see if I can get us back here. There we go.
Man down, man down. There he is.
Okay.
So this is going to play out the back and forth with their service. I think it's going to be a big deal. I don't know. A lot of veterans are. I don't know that a lot of veterans are going to vote for him because of this issue. But there are some Democrat veterans that are going to vote for him no matter what. So we'll
Well,
see.
so he's bailed on his military. He bailed on the police, right? Law enforcement in that state. He kind of bailed on them. Defund the police. That was one of his big deals. So, I mean, he's not very popular in that sector anyway. I would think. So, who knows?
If it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's a duck. All right. So Tim Walz happens to be buddies with Communist China, and we wonder if this was part of Harris's calculus for choosing him as the Democrat VP pick. You've got to wonder and you got to think, did this go into it? According to the Daily Mail, Waltz admits that he has been to China about 30 times. The Alliance Star
How
Herald
many
in
times,
Nebraska
how many times have you been to China?
never set foot in China. I've never officially. I can't tell you if I have or not.
I
I'm
mean,
just kidding. I never have.
I've never been there either. So,
I'd have
but
to
30
tell you if
times
I.
is a lot. So,
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. So the Alliance Star Herald in Nebraska, that at the time was his home newspaper, um, reported that after one trip to China, Walt said, "quote No matter how long I live, I'll never be treated that well again. They gave me more gifts than I could bring home. It was an excellent experience." End quote. So, okay, a grain of salt. Maybe the people were really nice, and the common folk were giving him a lot of presents, a little fan here and chopsticks there, and I guess maybe was it government people giving him stuff? That would be interesting to know.
yeah.
Um, Waltz became so enamored with China that he spent his honeymoon there after his marriage on June 4th, 1994. That's the fifth anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. Spent his
Interesting.
anniversary there.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So, and that's all I can say. It's interesting. I don't know if he planned it that way or it's crazy interesting. So it kind of sounds familiar, like Bernie Sanders honeymooning in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
He took his wife to the Soviet Union to honeymoon. I mean,
Yeah.
so kind of points towards a Democrat socialist, maybe leaning towards communism. Who knows, man? He even put a banner in his office when he was a coach. Maybe because okay, we'll get into it.
Maybe he
According
wanted what a little. Maybe he wanted a little of what Biden's had.
maybe it's the the Chinese government, communist government has a propensity for recruiting United States politicians at all levels, whether it's governor or congressman or senator. Um, they do it well. They do it really well. According to Breitbart and the Daily Mail, they also brought 60 exchange students, that's 60 exchange students with them on that business trip slash honeymoon. So they combined it in a business trip honeymoon. In fact, Waltz and his wife started a business to facilitate American student exchanges in China. Turned out to be a pretty lucrative business. And I was going to say in his office, his coaching office, he had a banner, a Chinese, with the 5-star banner. And that's probably to help recruit kids who, hey, what's that banner about? Well, we've got student exchanges, a scholarship. Do you want to go see China? That's probably started a conversation with kids, athletes coming into his office. So Waltz over the years continued to meet with communist China officials as early as 2015. Here are some troubling connections to communist China, as reported by Seamus Brunner at Breitbart.
Troubling is that's
Putting it nicely.
Yeah, it's pretty understatement there, I'd say. So
yeah.
Okay, so the CCP approved and even subsidized Walz's student exchanges. U.S. national security expert John Schindler in on record saying no American would be allowed to run academic exchanges for a couple of decades on the CCP's dime without the Ministry of State Security approval. So, I mean, probably nothing goes on over there without these guys' approval, right?
Right. I mean, you got to get a visa to get in. You just can't pop in.
Yeah, you go there for your honeymoon. You're not just walking in there. You're making reservations on hotel.com. You're clearing this with the government, I would imagine, right?
Well, the governor waltzed in.
Yeah.
Well,
I like that.
Gotcha.
So Chinese authorities reportedly covered a large part of a 1993 summer trip student exchange. Walz and the Chinese government jointly sponsored scholarships for American students to visit China, as Walz traveled between 1989 and 2003 with hundreds of students.
Okay, if this were like Italy or Germany or Scotland, no problem. Australia, no problem because they're allies, but communist China, why on earth are we taking kids over there to expose them to communist way of life?
Well, not only that, I mean, what's the possibilities of them getting snagged up and used as a bargaining chip, or an embarrassment, or whatever?
Like kidnapping?
Yeah, exactly. Or
we don't see too much of that from China.
False charges or whatever. So yeah, I
see that from North Korea and Russia. But
you're setting yourself up there for some interesting stuff, I think. So
yeah, there's a lot of expats that go over there to like teach or whatever.
Yeah, but Zane's went over there. They served a mission there and taught English. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Huh. So a Communist China Party diplomat and other CCP government officials attended Waltz's gubernatorial inauguration in January 2019. What?
Yeah, this is
by invitation, probably. I mean, that's crazy. Does it remind you of Newsom hosting Xi Jinping in San Francisco? Let's clean up the streets, get everything ready.
Yeah.
Why are these Democrat officials welcoming communist diplomats from China? Why are they doing this?
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. There's got to be something for them. It's got to be something for the politician doing this.
So the CCP diplomat, acting General Consul General Liu Jun, left Walz's inauguration to meet with Walz's operatives at Minnesota's premier globalist non-governmental organization, whatever that is.
NGO.
Yeah, Minnesota Global. Minnesota Global has sponsored at least one foreign trip to Finland in December of 2023. Walz awarded a Global Minnesota nominee for a business award. Global Minnesota has invited Walz for speaking engagements in 2020, 2021, and 2022. So yeah, this guy's pretty tight with those guys.
He's tight with those guys, and those guys seem like they're
They got the red carpet.
yeah, but it's like I don't know, like the open border type thing, global Minnesota trying to get other influences, or I don't know. Yeah, but he's in bed with them. He's helping them, and they're helping him. Waltz has close connections to a Twin Cities-based organization that houses an alleged secret Communist China Party police station. We did a segment about this maybe
Yeah,
2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
One of only 7 known secret CCP's police stations in the United States. That police station is known to be a CCP intelligence agency service center.
Yeah. What is
So
up with that? This is crazy.
a foreign we talked about it before, a foreign country setting up a police station to monitor its national citizens. It's crazy. How is it allowed to happen?
Why would we roll over and allow that? So
It's like not just monitoring your folks. You could be spying on things around you, on whoever. Send someone out to check on this, to influence this politician, sleep with that politician. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
why is it allowed?
Did they actually go out and enforce their law?
Probably. Or if the Chinese is the person is saying something against China, they probably go out and strong arm them.
Slap them around a little bit. That's crazy stuff. What do they call that? I know there's some people that say, "Well, I'm not a sovereign citizen of the United States, so I don't have to abide by your laws." Does that kind of go along with that same thing? They don't interact with our law enforcement agencies. They just kind of do their own thing.
They do their own thing. It's an intelligence agency, service center. So they're doing spying rather other than just regulating the dissidents dissidents, I guess, that move there from China. Yeah. I don't think they'd harass a second, third, fourth generation Chinese American, but a Chinese national, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So Walz has a long history of making outlandishly pro-CCP comments. Here are some of nuggets. That wasn't one of the nuggets. That was Cameron.
That was Cameron.
Going to China has been one of the best things he's ever done.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
You'd think that getting married is one of the best things, or having a child is one of the best things, right? That's what you'd think. Maybe diving in Maui, that would be an unforgettable experience. Yeah, I don't know.
Military service, if he really did one. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of that comment that Michelle Obama made, right? When her husband got elected, that this is finally she was proud of being an American.
So, right. Like she was never proud of being an American.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, if the Chinese had proper leadership, there are no limits to what they could accomplish, end quote. So this was before Xi Jinping. So what does that mean if they had proper leadership? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Freedom type, like Taiwan leadership?
When have they had proper leadership? So, I mean, it's been a bit, not in my lifetime that I know of. So
it's a weird statement. I know weird is in the news lately, that word weird, but it is strange, that statement.
Yeah. In 2011, Walz said he developed a great admiration for and a close connection with the Chinese people. Again, after teaching there,
how close? Yeah.
Yeah. How close was he?
I guess if you were going over there so many times, like Italy, Germany, Scotland, you develop an affinity, I guess. But it makes you wonder how close. I mean, he's got government officials visiting his inauguration. If they get elected, heaven forbid, are there going to be Chinese diplomats at the inauguration and the inaugural ball?
Or in the cabinet?
Or in the cabinet.
I mean, what the heck? This is nuts.
Walz said China had almost no crime, which was a nod to the CCP's brutal police. Remember, they locked their high-rise residents in their apartments during the COVID. Do you remember that? locked them in, like welded the door so they couldn't get out.
Yeah, let's have an
That's
interview with the Uyghurs and see how much crime they don't.
brutal. Well, that's the reason why there's no crime. They beat you down. You
Yeah,
just look at them cross-eyed. They beat you
yeah,
down.
yeah. You disappear. Walz recently compared socialism to neighborliness. I don't get that. He also claims, in reference to the Tiananmen Square massacre, that every nation has its dark periods, and that it must come to grips with. Just slightly better than Omar saying some people did something on 9/11, or uh, uh, Maine Governor Healy, Maine, right? Is that Maine?
Massachusetts.
Or Massachusetts, sorry. Governor Healy in response to a rape by an illegal. Things happen. Things will happen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Dehumanize it, right? Things
Yeah.
will happen. It's crazy. Why did Harris choose Walz as a running mate? I mean, Mark Kelly in Arizona, that's a purple state, and he's a respected naval officer and NASA
Yeah.
astronaut.
Yeah. He was an astronaut,
You know?
right?
Why not choose him?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's that great of a guy politically. I mean, we don't.
I know, but we talked about this yesterday.
But he's
You
more
make
middle of the road.
Yeah, you make these calculations based on what you can gain from it. So if she's not worried about, well, obviously she's not worried about Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Shapiro, Georgia. She's not worried about that. She wants someone who's as radical as her. He's from Minnesota, he's got a record of being radical. That's what the calculus is, I think. How really deep are his ties to communist China? How could he do this all while serving in the Minnesota National Guard? All this, he's serving the National Guard and going over there. How could he do that? I mean, he's got to have a security clearance. I mean, once you get up to Sergeant First Class E7, you have a security clearance, and Master Sergeant and Command Sergeant Major would have a top secret security clearance. How did he do that? At least until he retired in 2003, right? So there was a period of time he was going over there while he was in the Guard.
I don't know.
I don't
This
know.
this guy is he's definitely. I mean, I would say he's probably, with his international experience and dealing with China, and like he has, like we just talked about. I mean, Kamala doesn't have this kind of stuff, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess the
He's
foreign.
more she is.
Yeah, I guess with foreign, he provides a foreign diplomatic, piece to the puzzle. I guess.
At least with China.
Yeah, at least with China,
I
and
don't
they
know
are our biggest rival.
I don't know how good that piece of the puzzle is, but
I guess the Democrat would spin it that way. He's got a lot of experience with China and can help, contain China. Yeah, right.
right, whatever. I don't know. This guy's. We need to look into this guy a little bit more. But he's out there, and I mean they're not hiding anything. He's out there on the stump and opening up his mouth, and obviously people are hearing what he's got to say. So hopefully that'll be enough to send him off.
I think they're going to try and pretend that he's middle of the road, like Pelosi said. He's right down the middle. They're going to try and lie to the American people, to the people in the center, independents, and they're going to fool them just like they fooled them with Biden. Now Biden lurched to the left. It's the same thing. They're just going to pour on the lies until the second week of November, and then business as usual.
I'm anxiously awaiting a debate between him and JD Vance. So
yeah, that'll be interesting. That'll be fiery.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any contest with Vice President Harris against former President Trump, but these two guys,
he's going to shut her down. She's like Tulsi Gabbard shut her down. President Trump is going to shut her down. It's like the first or second question. She'd be like, "What do I say?"
Well, I mean, what has she done? What has she done while she served as vice president?
She cracked down on marijuana users. She did. And then she started toking on Charlemagne's show and laughing about it.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's about all I can tell you that she's done. Crack down on marijuana usage.
I guess.
All right, folks.
Good notes today. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, and enjoy your Sabbath tomorrow, and we'll see you on Monday.
Yep. Have a good one. Take care. Thank you.